Good evening and thank you for joining us on World News. As we join you tonight, Japan is in mourning with the state funeral of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe just having been carried out today. The venue was saturated with global leaders paying their final respects. However, the event did not go without oppositions as protests were frequent. We have other there in the World News special correspondent Rasitha Chandradasa joining us now from Tokyo in Japan. Rasitha.
Good evening, Anurag. Today is a big day for Japan and Japanese people. Their ex-Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was unfortunately assassinated in Nara a couple of months ago, had his state funeral at the Nippon budocan starting from 2 p.m. local time. Before that, the gates were open to the general public from 9:30 in the morning, and we saw massive number of people queuing up to offer their last respect to the slain leader. When the official state funeral started at 2 p.m., we saw hundreds of foreign dignitaries such as the US Vice President Kamala Harris, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as well as the Singaporean Prime Minister, leader of Vietnam, to say so few. And also our own Ranil Wickremesinghe, the president, was also in attendance. It is said that nearly 4,000 local and foreign dignitaries participated in the events. Prime Minister Kishida started with his official address, and also ex-Prime Minister Suga represented Abe-san's friends and his faction and gave a very moving speech. Abe-san, although he's well known, probably the most widely known Japanese Prime Minister outside of Japan, is a bit of controversial figure inside Japan. To emphasize that, the surveys taken even yesterday shows that more than 50% of the people oppose the state funeral. And the reasons vary. Some say the cost, which is put around 15 to 20 million US dollars, is very high. Some say his legacy is controversial. And the people might wonder why such a guy who had the longest tenure is controversial. Yes, Abe-san was a highly successful prime minister. He led his party, the LDP, into 5 or 6 multiple election victories, which is unheard in post-war Japan. But he also took Japan and his party to the right extreme. For example, his policies on the defense. He took Japan and their self-defense forces. He wanted to make them a full capable army. And Abe-san also wanted to create a new constitution for the Japan. For that, more than 50% of Japanese people opposed. To show that there were over 15,000 people gathered outside of the parliament today to oppose the state funeral, as well as few thousand people gathered outside of the Japan, the Nippon budokan, when the event was having to oppose, show their stance against the state funeral. So with the state funeral over, I'm pretty sure lots of foreign dignitaries, they will get back to the actual roles, like they would have meetings with Japanese ministers, as well as mainly with Prime Minister Kishida. And our own Ranil Wickremesinghe, the president, had a meeting with Foreign Minister today, Hayashi-san, and he expected to meet Kishida as well. And he's also going to have a meeting with the Japanese parliamentarian over a breakfast tomorrow morning. And that meeting is very important because that would represent not just the ruling LDP, it will represent the opposition party as well. So it's a good chance for the president to express and to sell himself and our country, to show all the situation and get whatever help he needs. Over to you, Anurag. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That was other than the World News special correspondent Rasitha Chandradasa reporting from Tokyo in Japan.